Welcome to the Ball State University Wrecking Crew Headquarters. I'm Stephen Campbell. Joining me today is Douglas Droste. Douglas is the conductor of the Ball State University Orchestras. He's the artistic director and conductor of the Muncie Symphony Orchestra. He's also the conductor of the Music for All Summer Youth Symposium. And he's a violinist, but more importantly than that, he's a recovering trumpeter. So Doug, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we're just going to talk a little bit about the very first Ball State Symphony Orchestra concert of the year, which is September 18th at 7:30, and it's going to be in Sursa Hall on campus here at Ball State University. Or you can also check out the link to the live feed, which will be posted in the description box below. So Doug, why don't we start by just talking about actually what's on the program?
Probably the most important thing we're going to play all year is the William Perry Trumpet Concerto, starring yours truly.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here after the for the rest.
That's
of the
going to open up the whole season.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I appreciate you inviting me to play that piece.
Of course.
This is a piece that I've wanted to play for a long time. Armando Guitarra recorded this on an album back in the '80s, I think, and I remember hearing this piece as a music student. And I think at the time, I didn't even want to approach that piece necessarily at the time. The other thing was, I don't think the music was even available. I could be wrong about that, but I remember looking for it and it wasn't available then. Now this would have been in the early 2000s, so things are a little different.
Yeah, things are different.
Now.
Yeah.
But I think it's such a cool piece, and it's in sort of a, for those of you who may not be familiar with this composition, it's in sort of a pop style that I prefer. I really like. The opening movement is Jazz Promenade, and the second movement sort of like an old sort of Italian crooner.
Yeah.
And then the third movement, Carnival.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I've really never had an opportunity to perform that piece as such before, because a lot of times we get asked to play the usual suspects,
Right.
and I'm not trying to take anything away from them.
Yeah.
The Haydn
Right.
Concerto in E flat,
Yeah.
for me is like probably my favorite trumpet concerto. But when we were talking about having me play, I thought, well, we need to do something else, and I hope personally the next generation of composers will hear it and start kind of writing pieces in that, something like that style. But so I've gone on for a few minutes.
No, this piece is very accessible. I think it's going to fit very well on our program. It's going to appease our audiences, appease you and your students as well, and hopefully some trumpet players out there who may not know the piece very well.
This piece has never really gone out of fashion because it's never really been in fashion.
That's a good quote.
And so I hope people hear this piece and want to perform it, and we'll just kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is on the program? That's on the first half?
That is the first opening, due to a few other events that we're having here on campus, including our 100th year centennial celebration in which the orchestra is participating. The program is going to consist of the trumpet concerto, but also the planets in its entirety, Holst the Planets. Some conductors like to ease into the school year. I like to start it off with a big bang, so we're going to start it off with some William Perry, and then we're going to segue into Mars.
Yeah. What led you to program the planets?
It's been on my list to do here. The Ball State Symphony Orchestra has increased in size and talent, everything, and this is my 6th year here at Ball State, so we're finally we are able to handle it with I think relative ease. We have the forces. This is calls for a very large orchestra.
Yeah. I feel like in many ways it's an interesting piece because it's not a symphony. It's just a sort of orchestral suite,
Right.
And it really is a wind ensemble with strings in many ways.
It's very thick for the winds at times, yes.
Because really all the instruments the sections are quite large.
Yes, right.
And the winds and in the flutes you have to the auxiliary. I think there's like alto flute,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
For the trumpets, there's 4 trumpets in the orchestra, and so most compositions, orchestral compositions, for the most part, have 2 and sometimes 3 trumpets. To have more than that is kind of a big deal. And I think the reasons for that obviously are some range issues. if you have more than 3 trumpets, well, you have to keep in mind you have low brass also.
Right.
So what's everyone going to play? Is
Yeah.
it going to be a lot of doubling, and that sort of thing. In this case, the trumpets often operate as 2 sets, and then and it's kind of like a built-in assistant,
Staggered, right,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then at the big moments,
Yeah.
it gets
Everyone,
big.
yeah.
The organ plays an important role, but it only has like 2 phrases.
It's
I think.
mostly very supportive. It's mostly
Yeah.
the low end organ. It's not really. There are some higher chords that augment what the brass are playing, but it's mostly kind of that rumble feeling that you're going to have in some of the more serene movements.
Yeah. And we have a pretty serious instrument in Sursa.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The Sursa organ is very nice.
Yeah. So that'll be great. This has nothing to do with the music, but thinking about the planets, as a kid, I never wanted to go to space. Like a lot of my friends in my class and stuff, they wanted to be astronauts and
Right.
everything. I
You
never.
can join the Space Force now.
Yeah. I'll be on the space.
I just
Force.
got political in the trumpet interview.
Well, no, I mean we're not commenting on it. I mean it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, we just commented.
It was said. But yeah, because it's not like taking a plane flight.
No.
And I don't think that, I don't know, maybe if someone from NASA is watching, they can, I don't think that they're allowed to make coffee on the
So
spaceship.
you would not do well.
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah. If someone ever said, hey, Stephen, how'd you like to go to Saturn?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but the question is, what are we going to do about Pluto?
I think we should just make one up on the spot. We have plenty of jazz majors here who are playing, jazz people who will play in the orchestra, and I think we should just improv one on the spot.
I think we should. I mean,
It'll be a first.
I think that Gustav would like that.
I think he would.
Yeah. The thing is, like sometimes Pluto's a planet and other times it isn't.
Right. I'm
And
not sure if it is now. It's not.
We can Google it. I
Yeah,
mean, we
we'll
can
check
find
it out.
out. But I mean, it's not that important. But I guess so I wish they'd make up their mind.
I wish they would. That's right.
Also, while we're here, why don't we talk about the Ball State Symphony Orchestra tour that's happening in the spring?
I'm very excited. The Ball State Symphony Orchestra was one of 2 orchestras accepted to perform at the College Orchestra Directors Association National Conference in Boston, Massachusetts.
That's a big deal.
It is a big
I mean,
deal.
in terms of all that, that's the world stage.
For the collegiate orchestra world, it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Boston
Yeah,
Marathon.
it is.
Yeah.
They accept one small school orchestra and one large school orchestra, and we are the large school represented this year.
Fantastic.
We will be going on tour in February. We're going to perform a concert in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, and then a concert in the middle of Pennsylvania. The site still to be determined, and then we'll make our way up to Boston for the performance on February 9th.
Well, good. So that's in February.
Well, we have a lot of things going on. I spoke a little bit earlier. We have the 100th centennial anniversary of Ball State University, where we will be performing, the Ball State Symphony Orchestra will be performing live with the new documentary, which was just filmed. David Letterman's on this documentary. We have a lot of Ball State alumni who are talking about the history of Ball State. So similar to what orchestras are doing now with live movies and live orchestra, we are doing that here at Ball State University in early September.
So is that going to go along with a click track, or will
Yes,
you?
yeah,
Will
that'll be a
everyone
click
have
track.
that, or just you?
Just me, so
Okay.
that makes it a lot more nerve-wracking for the
Yeah.
conductor. But it won't be tremendously synced like a movie might be, but it'll be very, very close in that the music does line up with the scene changes.
Yeah.
So that's in September. Of course, this concert in September, October, which we'll talk about in another interview, I hope. West Side Story,
Symphonic Dances?
from
Nice.
West Side Story will be on that program, which we will take on tour in February. And then in December, we are doing the Complete Nutcracker with our Department of Theater and Dance in Emmons Auditorium.
Okay, so just as a quick reminder, this concert that we're talking about is September 18th, 7:30, Sursa Concert Hall, on campus, Ball State University. And you can check out the live feed, which will be in the description box below. Also in the description box below will be the links to the Wrecking Crew social media, which I hope that you'll take a moment to follow. Also, the social media page for the Ball State Symphony Orchestra. There will be information about Ball State University and Ball State University School of Music. So, Doug, thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you all for watching. Be well and go practice.